Welcome to Dance to Heal. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how dance and movement can bring healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that movement was vital to my recovery. I created Dance to Heal Wellness and also authored the best-selling book, Outside in Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new techniques to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. And so without further ado, I am so honored to have you here, RaeJ. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here, Jenny. I'm excited.
I know. What I love about having a podcast and having met you through Kay's community, RaeJ, is the fact that, you're really quite a celebrity. You downplay all the things that you've done. She's being all mature, like modest, y'all, demure, proper. And the beauty of it, though, is, right, that it's because of your accomplishments that we have this need to have to listen to what you have done with your life. You have this amazing program. Will you please tell my audience about this beautiful creation that you birthed because of your life experiences?
Yeah, I was in a situation where you won't even really believe this is true, but it is. October of 2012, the same week, my husband declared that he wanted a divorce. My employer told me I needed to find another job, and my body was rejecting me due to an infection that I didn't even know I had. So I was losing everything, employment, spouse, house, everything. And I was like, I felt like I was in some kind of a nightmare. And I said, well, what do I have to do? Dream for a change? And that's when it struck me. So I was approached by someone to write part of their anthology and be one of the authors. It was called Pretty in His Presence. And Pastor Raleigh Thornton invited me to include a chapter. And my chapter was called Passed and Approved. And in that chapter, I started with the story about how my ex-husband said I married the wrong woman. And he said this to my pastor, to our pastor. And I just kind of wrote that experience. So eventually, when I yelled out, I literally yelled out, do I have to dream for a change? I realized that you could say dream for a change, dream for a change, dream for a change. And the same thing with the emphasis being different could mean different things to different people. For me, it meant yes, I had sacrificed myself for everything, for everyone, most of my life. I was the caregiver for my mother and grandmother and hospice them, as I say, to heaven, taking care of the house, the spouse, the kids, and I didn't take care of myself. So what was my dreaming for a change? Well, with everything I went through, I gave up listening to other people. You know, that chatter, that noise that you hear. If I were you, I would do this. Oh, you wouldn't be doing this if this. I couldn't take it anymore. So I disengaged. That was the D. The R was, where is my responsibility in this? Because a lot of times we don't like to realize that we have some responsibility in some of the things that happens to us. And so I had to really look within and accept that hard reality that somewhere along the line, I was responsible for the demise of what was going on with me. So I took responsibility for it. And I started thinking about things that I did eyes wide shut, that I let go, that I saw, but I didn't acknowledge, or just figured if I ignored it, it'd go away. The E was about energy, and it was about effort. What kind of energy and effort am I now going to put towards getting out of this nightmare to dream for a change? Well, I had to be proactive about more things. I had to start looking into more things and becoming more self-sufficient and independent. And I think a lot of times we get to a place where we marry and we decide that our spouse is going to take care of some of these other things, so you just let it go. And I got very comfortable in that, letting him do everything that I knew how to do, but I got a spouse. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not worried about it. And so I had to re-engage and become more energetic and exert the effort to take care of me. The A was accountability. And I had to start realizing that there are things that I have to be accountable for. I had children that needed me, and one was in college and one was in high school, but I still needed them to have that stability to focus on their education.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to be accountable. I had to show up and do things that were hard, even while I was in cancer treatment. So all of this was going on. I had been diagnosed first with diabetic ketone acidosis, which was an infection rather that I had because I was not on diabetes medication. I was controlling my diabetes through nutrition and exercise. But when I got an infection, I didn't know that I had this infection. I didn't have insulin to bring the blood sugar down. So, what they call DKA is when there is so much acidity in your bloodstream because of the sugar and the level that it goes to, it starts to shut down your major organs. And I was dying. I literally was dying. My oxygen level by the time I got to ER and then ICU was at 11%.
Oh my gosh.
And the last thing, now I've had nursing training. So I remember the last thing that goes is the hearing. I could vaguely see the doctor, and at that time, my husband standing at the foot of the bed, and the doctor saying, because they ran CAT scans, X-rays, MRIs, they couldn't find anything. And they said she's dying and we don't know why. And I, in that moment, woke up and said to the doctor, didn't they teach you in school, in med school, that you're not supposed to talk around the patient because the hearing is the last thing to go? He was so glad that I had enough fight in me to chastise him. So we had this conversation, and he explained to me that there was something going on. They needed to literally go internally. These external imagings was not working. So they went in and did an experimental type, or it was exploratory. They didn't know what they were looking for. So I was a human guinea pig in that moment. But I thank the doctors at Mercy Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all. Because they went through and they found out that I had fibroid tumors that had made my uterus the size of a 4-month pregnancy. And because the tumors were steady growing, it literally pushed my uterus out of place into my bladder, and I could not fully eliminate. So the toxins were building up as a result, and an infection happened, and it was going throughout my system. It was becoming systemic. And it literally saved my life that my doctor didn't know what he was looking for, but he knew he needed to find something. And after that, they removed my uterus. I started feeling so much better. I was in surgery pain that felt better than the pain that I was in. Can you imagine being comfortable with surgery pain? That's just how much pain I was in outside of that. So when I started looking at the dreaming part, the disengaging, the responsibility, the effort and energy, the accountability, I knew finally I had to move. I had to imply some movement and do something. And even though I was trying to heal, my mind was still good. And I used my mind and I started learning about, as a man think, so is he. Where energy goes, attention flows. And so I started making the energy, making the movement to do things for myself. I started researching some things. I started and putting myself into communities that could support me, finding out about resources to help me. Now, I could have been the woe is me and not dreamed for a change, but that's not who I was. I wasn't made up of that. I was made up of sterner stuff. And I got busy with it. And as a result, I was not only able to start to heal, but I was also put into a book and became an author because of an anthology. So when you really start taking accountability and dream for your change, the possibilities are endless.
Oh, that was exquisite breakdown. Thank you so much. I love the fact that you shared in detail personally why and how you came up with that acronym, Ray J, because the key of those 5 phases, steps, layers, spirals of growth, however someone's hearing this, that
Mhm.
really is one magnificent, fully encapsulating type of approach to life, right? Because, like I have always searched for answers. We are always looking for answers on how we can feel safe again, or we know that we're stressed, but we don't know how to break that cycle. I love this overall far reaching type of approach, right? Because, like, some people, they do tapping, tapping, tapping. And I'm like, and
Right.
that's excellent. Excellent. And what else are you doing beyond that? I know that that's your niche. And what else is needed? For me, part of the movement needed an internal understanding and kind of a come to Jesus moment, right? Because the
Mhm.
Carl Jung has a quote that I love. I have a psychology major from undergrad before I went into getting my master's for occupational therapy. And the mind is incredibly strong and we don't even understand the full effects of it, right? And so Carl Jung has this amazing quote I love to say, until you make your unconscious conscious, life will happen to you and you will call it fate. And I
Mm.
love the responsibility portion of it you're saying, because oftentimes we have things that happen to our past that we don't understand and
Yes.
even realize we're repeating those patterns, correct? And
Correct.
you're
Absolutely.
asking us rewire. First of all, figure them out, because to take responsibility means that you have to say, hey, what happened to me?
Right.
What inner beliefs am I still holding on to? I'm doing quotation marks for those of us who are listening in. What happened to me that I am now repeating patterns, attracting these people that take me
Exactly.
for granted, right? And you said, oh, I put everybody first. I know for a fact that that's what happened with my cancer journey, because no one teach it. Well, we're doing it now in our past, because we're what are we what generation are we? X?
I don't know.
It
I'm
doesn't matter.
born in
Whatever.
64. I'm
Yeah,
60 years old.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't mind saying that because
yeah.
I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
still
right?
here.
It's a privilege to be able to age. It's a privilege. And I'm 56.
Exactly.
We've seen life, right? And we understand how it's really important. There's a point in life where we no longer blame our parents. We
Mhm.
pull ourselves
Mm.
up, right, by our bootstraps and go, why am I still here though? Like, really, seriously, I'm a grown person.
Right.
What
Right.
can I do to change it? And that's the key. Even though I know you were raised to serve, I was raised to serve. I mean, like, I came from a culture, right? They were so pissed I was a girl. I was the first grandchild. This is Taipei, Taiwan right now, right? So Taiwan is very progressive now, but back in my day, even some parts
Hmm.
of it now, Atsuko, the
Hmm.
comedian, was talking about how she recently went back to her village in Taiwan a few years ago with her husband, who is white, right? And she is half Japanese, half Taiwanese, and she went back to her village, and they still did not really recognize women. So this is a deep cultural thing where
Hmm.
I've been under this, oh, you are not worthy unless you serve.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you don't have a right to exist.
Yeah, see, because my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather was Japanese.
Mhm.
So, and he married a Native American Blackfoot Indian. And I'm West African. So the culture is such a mix. And I know about that Asian part of me. I just, it's like it's a no-brainer. You serve. That is what you're here to do. Over time, however, you forget you because you're so focused on serving everyone. Is everybody else okay? You know, I felt like I was living backwards. There's a story in the Bible where it says that a man would much rather sleep up on the rooftop than to be in the house with a woman that's scorned. I felt like I was the woman that much rather be on top of the roof than be in
Mhm.
a household with a man that was scorned.
Mhm.
So I felt like I was taking on to, the role reversal, the masculine energy, because I felt like I had to keep inserting myself where I didn't think that I should. I didn't have a problem with doing the things, the feminine things. I got tired of having to do everything. And I don't think that I realized I positioned myself. And that's part of that taking responsibility, because you have to realize what is it that you're doing. Let the man be the man. You do what you're supposed to do as the female, if that's the role you want to play. You have masculine energy and feminine energy. It's an energy that's in all of us. But I just decided I'm taking over. And I think sometimes some men, when you have these strong women, air quotes for those that are listening, feel emasculated. Not that you're intentionally doing that, you're just a right now, take charge kind of person. And I think some of that energy, we have to pay attention to that, especially if you've been on your own for so long. And now, women of a certain age that may be going through a transformation, a transition in their life where they're losing a spouse either via death or via divorce. They have to now learn how to step into this type of energy. And some of us are feeling lost with that.
Yes, yes. So let's be really clear, folks. We are speaking on knowing your worth without having to prove anything. All right. Let's just be really
Right.
clear, right? Because we tend to be conditioned as women, no matter what nationality or culture you're from. There's very few matriarchal communities to this date. I think there's one province in China. That's it that I know of, where like the men are expected to do all of the house care and the women are the breadwinners. That's all that I know of. Okay. Yes. Yes. I'll have to show you that account. Okay. The men are so cute there in that one little tiny corner of China that I know of.
Wow.
Yeah. Other than that, right? We are expected to do everything. You can have your bacon and fry it too. Yes, you can, but you don't need to. You don't need to do everything and burn the candle on both ends to the point where
Yes.
you're not
Yes.
listening to your own needs. Like for me, when I found that lump, it was because the month before my husband suddenly had a bowel obstruction surgery.
Mm.
And 4 years before that, my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and he was in that ketone acidosis and he almost died at 10. So I
Mm.
stopped sleeping for 4 years because I thought he was going to die in his sleep with type 1 diabetes.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
And
Yeah.
then before that, right, a bunch of other things happened that had accumulated. All this trauma had accumulated in my body and I did not know. The education was not out there. Also, I had my head in the sand too, right? That
Hmm.
I was not making time and listening to the whispers that were quickly becoming screams in my body.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
key. And so I want to bring that back to you actually have something that will help you be more in touch with your body and what your body needs. Tell us about what that is. And we're going to make sure that that link is in the description of this episode so you can click on that.
Yes, so there's so many stories out there like yours and mine and others where people were just out of touch. They just could not focus. And especially those that may be going through perimenopause and menopause and having all of these issues. Like I knew something was wrong in my brain. That's all I kept saying. Something's wrong. I'm not feeling right in my head. Well, perimenopause, had no idea. And diabetes similarly act the same way with the brain. And not that I'm giving any medical disclaimers at all, but over time, when I had chemotherapy and I was thrown into menopause, it felt like I felt when I became diabetic. And I said, this is crazy. You try to find some of everything to fix it. There is a company that has done just that. They have been able to take 11 harmonic frequencies and put them into a product. It's a nootropic and it has 7 mushrooms in it. And you're like, mushrooms? It's a drink called mango lemonade. It's called Rise. And there is a medallion that is on the actual product that is charged, kind of like a magnet. So if you think about, you could throw a magnet in a drawer and years later go back and it's still magnetized. That is exactly what this medallion is like on our product called Rise. And so you drink this 8 ounces of water, put it in a smoothie if you want, within 20 to 30 minutes, ingest it. And some people have actually felt better immediately. Like I'm hypersensitive. So within 30 minutes, I was more focused. Didn't know why. Didn't realize that it wasn't like, now she's focused. It wasn't like that. It was just that I was doing the work. And I had this issue with my stomach. And my stomach issues went away. I didn't realize until 4 days later, wait, I my stomach hasn't hurt in 4 days. What? And so it balances most of your organs. It's lion's mane, trumpet, shiitake. It's so many mushroom goodness that's in here. And I remember lion's mane was something that was recommended to help rid my body of the chemotherapy, that was left in it. But back then, I couldn't afford lion's mane. It was expensive to buy each one of these mushroom supplements. Well, this company, Frequence, has put it together and it's a wonderful product. 30 days, money back guarantee if you don't feel anything, but it's not so much about feeling anything to feel it. It's about feeling good, feeling better inside. And it's wonderful. It really is. I'm so glad that I was introduced to it by my sponsor. Thank you,
Oh,
Cindy.
yeah. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you,
We're gonna have to
Cindy.
have Cindy here. Yeah. So the thing is, though, folks, right? We are sharing with you what helped RaeJ become much more aware and healthier because of the frequency that is being emitted into the product she's talking about. I want you to think of something and be just really clear. If you know how to do muscle testing and know intuitively what something is for you or not, I really invite you right now to do that. Now, if you don't know what that is, I want you to just hold your finger in front of you where your elbow and your shoulders are pretty even, and
Mhm.
the finger and wrist and like big knuckle of your hand are all in alignment. If you have a frozen shoulder, just support the elbow, okay, on a counter. And then if you take your finger to that middle knuckle and you lightly press, you're going to resist. Turn your palm towards you, RaeJ. Yes, that way. And if you lightly push on that and resist, you can feel quite amount of strength coming out of that hand on that side of the
Yes,
finger. And
I
if you
can.
do a muscle test and you go, like say your name, I'm gonna say I am Jenny Cohen, and then you say your name to yourself, and then you push down that button on that finger, you're gonna feel that strength. That's
Oh, very
that's
much
your
so. Yeah.
yes. Right. And then if I want to say I'm Mary Poppins, and no matter what I do, this finger will not say it because my body knows I'm not Mary Poppins. I want to be Mary Poppins. How amazing would it be to have that carpet bag? Right. And so that's my no. The second way to again test your own yes is say the color of your eyes. Mine are brown eyes. So my finger stays firm. Right. And
My eyes are green.
yes, RaeJ's eyes are not green. Her finger right down. So like I've always wanted to also have green eyes. So I'm gonna like my eyes are green and my body goes, no, no, silly. Now, if we
Yeah.
were alone, I would use the B word, but no, silly. It's not green. It's brown. I said my eyes are brown. Yes. So now I've tested my yes and my no, right? Now
Yeah.
ask your body, right? Should I investigate this frequency thing? And my body said yes. Okay.
Should I investigate the frequency?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not going anywhere. I
Right.
promise you, this is not a trick. This
Right.
is so
However,
real.
this is really important because like RaeJ, you're part of the episodes where I want people to be very aware of what their personal needs are. Those of you who it was a no, great. But now you're going to start muscle testing for products that do work. Okay. Those of you that was a yes, you're going to go immediate to that link and check it out and even contact RaeJ and talk about the different products and how they work for you. Does that make sense? We're not advocating that everybody in the world do this. There's no need to do that. 8 billion people, unfortunately, don't need to be on this project. Okay, let's be clear. 8 million people can learn how to muscle test about what's good for their bodies because we're so unique all in ourselves. Does that make sense, folks? So, RaeJ, we're going to have to come back because I've already gone overtime. My editor's going to have my head. I don't care. I had so much fun having a conversation with you about this kind of stuff. Thank you so much for coming. Everybody have a great day. Make sure you try out RaeJ's link, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Dance to Heal with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of recovery through movement and learn more ways that you can move your body. To work with me and continue your journey, visit OutsideInRecovery.com. Are you ready to move?